Welcome to our Nikken Experiences Zoom meeting tonight. I'm Emily Ellsworth, and I'm very glad to have you here, either live or watching the recording. We are going to share some personal experiences with Nikken products, like the sleep products, the mattress cover, the quilt, the pillow, the magnetic products for our shoes and other the small ones for the joints problems that we might have. Also the water, any experiences with the water, because it's so foundational. The water and the sleep are really foundational. We don't make medical claims. We just talk about what happened to us. So I am happy to hear from those that are here, and we're just excited. I'm excited to be doing this again. I had a two week plus trip back east to help my daughter, and wasn't able to do much work at that point, but I'll be doing it every other Wednesday. I'm going to go with the first and the third Wednesday every month. So I made that decision when Barb Bertucci asked me, okay, which Wednesdays, because we need to plan. So first and third. Would someone like to begin by sharing an experience?
Yeah, I'll talk about my feet. I was first introduced because of my back, but and I had good results with different things on my back, but also my feet. I walked on a concrete floor all day long for decades, and my feet and my ankles hurt all the time. And I'm not one that has a very quick response. So it took me a little bit of time to use the insoles to get a response. But now, if my ankles or feet do begin to hurt, because my body's used to it, I guess, I can put the insoles in and just, probably within a half hour, they won't hurt anymore. So, and I'm also one that I use orthotics also. And I know some people don't need to use orthotics and they get results. But I don't have a good outcome if I just use the orthotic, and I don't have the best outcome if I'm just using the insoles. So I use them both together. So
I do the same thing because I had been using orthotics for a long time before I got back to my insoles after several years. And I love them together. Like you, my feet feel like they're singing when I'm wearing them. And I used to have a lot of aches in my feet at the end of a teaching day, because I'd be up on my feet all day long. I remember soaking them in water at night and trying to get them to feel better. But these are amazing.
now let me add one thing to that. This little thing here, the Kenko Touch. Sometimes, like this morning, my instep was bothering me a lot. Like I've been wearing slippers around the house a lot, and I have the M strides in there, but I don't have orthotics in there. And so my instep was bothering me. And I just set this on the floor next to my instep and let it, run. And that takes care of the issue also.
Can you explain to everyone what that thing does?
This is a magnetic device that is powered by a rechargeable battery that's inside of it. And it just allows the magnetism to travel at a further distance than the static magnets do.
So I think if I remember right, it pulses out.
Yes,
it has a pulse magnetic.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Pulse magnetic field. Yeah.
And it has little nodules that come out. So if you put it directly on the skin, it has a massaging effect to it. So
And I understand it's really effective. I've actually used one on my hips a time or two, and my knee. And really, it was very helpful. It seemed like it was very strong. I mean, it seemed like it made a big difference pretty quickly. So thanks for showing us that.
Mhm. This past early spring, I was cleaning up stick debris off from the yard, and there had been a storm come through, and I didn't plan on doing it. I just happened to be outside walking around. And usually when I'm going to garden, I always put the Nikken magnetic back flex on, or the magnetic flex. And I just didn't do that. So I had been outside probably for 15 minutes, bending over and picking up the sticks and carrying them in my arms or whatever. And I was just at the last point where I said, okay, this is enough. And I bent down to pick up one more stick, and I felt a spasm in my lower back. And because I just hadn't been doing it properly and I wasn't prepared. And so I could barely step up the 2 steps on our porch to come into the house. It was hurting so badly. And I immediately put the back flex on, and then I actually used the Kenko Touch, off and on, back and forth. And I made sure that I came in and got a big glass of water from the aquapour or the waterfall, because I probably was a little dehydrated too. In the past, when I've had back issues, it would make me be flat out for a week at a time. The next day, I was able to be back outside gardening again, properly wearing all the things that I needed.
That is a great story. It reminds me of Elaine's gardening story. That back flex being the real key. And
Yeah.
it's just awful when you bend down for the last time and you can feel it and you instantly know that you made a mistake.
Right. Uh-huh.
Good to be reminded that those things just work so well in situations like that.
I call that my favorite gardening tool.
That's good. My husband calls it his favorite 24-hour tool. It's
Right.
back all the time. He was really having a lot of back trouble, hurting a lot, and then it just it didn't bother him very much anymore. Same thing with his ankle injury from a sprained ankle in college. Now he's 71, and it started hurting pretty bad, like it would be waking him up at night from sleep. And so before we got the new mattress cover, I would just give him a little round power chip in a wrap, and far infrared wrap for his ankle, and that made a difference, a big difference in the pain, in the discomfort. And then when we got the magnetic mattress cover, and he didn't wear it one night or two, he realized he didn't need it because that was taking care of it. So I haven't heard him talking about his ankle for quite some time now.
Right. That is one thing that I have noticed about the Naturest Fit. Every morning I would grab the back flex and just put it on because, and one day I realized that after having them sleeping on the Naturest Fit for about a week and a half, I realized that I was not grabbing my back flex first thing in the morning after being dressed. I just didn't need it. And so even continuing now, most times I'm not wearing it as part of my everyday gear, unless I am going to be outside doing yard work. So I hadn't put 2 and 2 together until you mentioned that. So
it's right, that Naturest Fit that covers the mattress is just, oh, I just love it to pieces. It's magical to me.
mhm.
Anybody else want to share an experience?
Sure, I will. This is with the whole system. When I used to descend in an airplane, it felt like there was a giant cleaver and that it was just cleaving my head exactly on that angle. And it was acute and it was horrible. It just was terrible to descend. A flight attendant one time said, "Are you sick?" And to my absolute astonishment, I realized I wasn't. This was just me. I had some like sinusy something that just lives in there. And so I started taking medication, and that was awful because a lot of the reason I was flying was for singing contests, and California is only 2 hours away in a flight, but the medication stays there for 6 to 12 hours. And so my throat was all dry to sing. I mean, it was not a good situation. So then we found out about Nikken, and I started sleeping on this whole pad and pillow and everything. And then we we got a free trip through Nikken to Japan. So we flew to Japan, and right before then we had flown to Australia to pick up our son who was down there, and we brought him back to America. And so this is fly down at a lower elevation than I've got here in Utah, down in Australia, come back, fly down into San Francisco, which is a lower elevation than Utah, pick up again, go down into Tokyo, pick up, go to Wakayama, and anyway, I can't think of it. It starts with an F where Nikken started. Anyway, I noticed that in all of these flights, my head wasn't hurting anymore. And I can't tell you why. I have no idea why. It's just before the sleep system killed me, and afterward, none. Now, we were gone for about 3 weeks, and on that last descent into Salt Lake, it started hurting again, just a little bit. So that was interesting that influence stayed with my body for 3 weeks. So that's my story.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
When I first got the pillow, I didn't notice any difference, but after, I think it took me about a year to realize that when I laid my head down at night on that pillow, I have allergies, and they're kind of chronic and usually kind of feel a little stuffy. So I would lay my head down on that pillow at night, and my head would clear in the first minute or two that my head was down. And I thought, that's weird, because the opposite is usually what would happen.
Mm.
It's stuffier when I would lay flat and be better upright, but I think it must just do something to the clogged up areas in the sinuses.
Yeah, to open up everything.
Yeah, it sounds like it really did for you. It's great to have you here tonight, June. Thanks for being on. Do you want to say anything? There's no need if you don't. Okay. Well, I think I might want to share with you a fun experience that I had today. I went to a chiropractor's office to pick up some homeopathic drops, and they had a machine there that measures your feet for custom orthotics. And I had gotten some of those a couple of years ago from a podiatrist. Cost me $600+ and insurance didn't cover it. So I asked them, what is the price of your orthotics? Because they measure them there and they make them there. And they told me, and it was about half. And then the woman that was behind the front desk came out and showed us her shoes and talked about the shoes she used to wear. And then she pulled her orthotic out, and we were talking, and there was another customer there. And all three of us were looking at it. And I said, have either of you ever heard of magnetic insoles? And I said, because I wear the orthotics too, but then I have these magnetic insoles underneath. So then I said, as long as we're taking off our shoes, I took my shoe off and pulled out my in stride to show them. And the one woman that was the customer started asking me a lot of questions about it. And she said, oh, my feet hurt so bad. I just have been beside myself, like, I don't know what to do about it. And so I talked to her about how I had been a teacher full time and my feet had hurt me a lot. But how I just love these and I feel energized and my feet just feel like, ooh, we're just happy when I have them in my shoes, and I keep them there all the time, or my slippers like right now. But then the woman, she almost cried. She said, I feel like this was not coincidence. I needed to meet you. I needed to hear this. So she wanted my phone number, and I gave her my information, contact information. I gave it to both of them. And she said, oh, I'm going to talk to my husband about this and I'll call you. So I was just giddy, when I left. I thought, that's what I love about Nikken, is talking to people and being able to give them some hope and share. And it was fun. It made a pretty good day even better. So, well, if there's anything else anyone wants to share with the group, feel free. Hi, Hattie Jane. I just didn't see you because I wasn't clicking down on my list. It's lovely to see you. All right. Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate your sharing. And if all goes well, we'll plan on seeing you in 2 weeks. That is the Wednesday between Christmas and New Year's. I think it's the 29th. So, and anyone you would like to invite. And I'll be sending the video to a couple people that couldn't make it tonight. So thank you, and have a wonderful Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Yes.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.